Reflections from Torch Trust, focusing on Christian faith and sight loss.
Hello and a warm welcome to Reflections from Torch Trust, the show that focuses on faith and disability in today's world. I'm your host, Marilyn Baker, and we're so happy to be with you today. Today we're going to be focusing on young people, but don't switch off if you're not feeling so young yourself, because today we're learning how people of all ages can support youngsters with sight loss. Here is our producer, Grace Dawson, to shed some light on the matter, with the help of the wonderful Charlotte Carson from Look.
Charlotte, thank you so much for joining us today. For anyone that's not heard of Look before, could you just give us a brief overview of what you guys are all about?
Yes, thanks for having me. Look is a small national charity, and we support visually impaired children and their families. And we run different peer support programs, really. So we've got a wonderful youth mentoring program. We run parent support groups and events that bring people together. And we have a helpline that parents and young people can call to get information and advice. And we also are very lucky enough to have a holiday flat in Scarborough that we rent out to families at affordable prices. A flat that was donated to us about 15 years ago by a wonderful couple, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson.
Wow, that's brilliant. So I've seen on your website that you describe yourself as small but mighty, and I can absolutely see why that is, because you're doing a lot.
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot because we have some an incredible staff team who are amazingly committed, and 80% of us are visually impaired or parents of visually impaired children, and we have amazing volunteer mentors, all who are visually impaired as well. And that's why we managed to achieve what we achieve in so many things, because of the commitment of everybody involved.
Oh, that's really wonderful. And so just to go back to the beginning then, I know that your parents actually started Look. Can you tell me a bit about what led them to do that?
Yes, I'm so proud to carry on that legacy. So when I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed with Stargardt's eye disease, and it was a complete bolt out of the blue. And I started to have lots of difficulties in school. Obviously, one day couldn't read my books, couldn't see my friends in the playground. School became a very difficult, frightening place. So getting the right support in school was vital. And this was in the 1980s. The support looked very different back then. And they really struggled. They felt incredibly isolated. They didn't know anything about visual impairment. And so they reached out to other parents all over the UK, and they found so many parents who were just like them, really struggling to get the information and support that they needed for their children, whether it was after diagnosis in the hospital, and mainly the challenges faced were in school for children, and ensuring that their children could cope and get an accessible education. And so that's what led them to found Look. And the charity was formed in 1991, along with other amazing parents of visually impaired children. And they came together to create this wonderful grassroots organisation that really represented the needs of parent carers of visually impaired children, and then visually impaired children and young people themselves. And as I say, I'm just so proud that from 2016, I got the job of Look's director at a time where Look was going through some changes. We'd lost a lot of funding. And at that time, I was coming off maternity leave and looking at different careers. I had a background working in the BBC, and I was looking for a change, and I knew how much support was still needed for visually impaired young people. And I knew from my personal experience and also job that I'd been supporting disabled people into work, that there was such a need. And Look was a vital part of my growing up. If it hadn't been for the support provided by Look as I was growing up, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So I was so driven to get involved and get the job at Look that it's just amazing to be here.
Yeah. Oh, that's a wonderful thing for an organisation to have someone leading it that has directly experienced everything to do with it as a child themselves. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went on all the youth groups growing up. I learnt to rock climb and canoe, and I met other visually impaired children, and that was really, really important to me as a child because, I was the only visually impaired child in my school and class and in my family, and we didn't know anyone else. And so it was only on Look weekends where we met other families, and that was really, really important. And also the advocacy that that my mum and other parents and professionals who were involved with Look gave at that time helped me get my education and got me through school.
We'll be hearing more about Look later in the show, but now it's time for our Thought for the Week, where we'll find Paul Rhodes, a Torch staff member, musing on a conversation he had with his children.
I was at the dining table with my children, Joel and Lydia, talking about the annoying kids they're at school with. My son told me the annoying ones are those children who come and speak to him about something he doesn't care too much about. He said, "I just want to say, go away, I don't care." But he doesn't. He answers them politely because he doesn't want to be rude. I told him that was a good thing, because after all, manners cost nothing. I then went on to say, you don't have to like everyone, but it's not good to be rude to anyone. My daughter then pipes up, stating that the Bible says we are to love everyone. Very true. So I asked my children this simple question: what is love? Neither could give me an answer other than to say, you like the person. So I asked them another question: do you love me? They both answered yes, very quickly. So I asked them again, what is love? Joel, my oldest, said, it means you would do anything for them, no matter what it was. My daughter Lydia then spoke up and said, if Dad told me to jump off a cliff, I wouldn't do that. I was quite glad to hear that, really. I replied that I wouldn't tell her to do that because I love her. So again, I asked the question, what is love? I told my children to read 1 Corinthians 13, the whole chapter. This passage contains a powerful description of real love, love in action. What is love? According to 1 Corinthians 13, it's patient, it's kind, not envious, not boastful, not proud, doesn't dishonour others, isn't self-seeking, not easily angered, keeps no record of wrongs, hates evil, rejoices with truth, protects, trusts, hopes, perseveres. In God's Son Jesus, we see the best living example of this real love when he showed all of these attributes in one selfless act of love for all mankind, summed up beautifully in Romans chapter 5 and verse 8. God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Throughout his life on earth, the love Jesus had for people always moved him to action. I was struck by a song sung by the American band DC Talk back in the 90s. The title of it was Love is a Verb. So my answer to what is love? Love is something we do.
Now let's hear more about the charity Look from their CEO, Charlotte.
And it certainly sounds like everything that Look is about is to do with people who really understand providing this support. And I was really interested to read about the mentoring that you offer as well. Can you tell me a bit about how that works, please?
We are really about boosting connection, and that's what we do. And we always say we've got really big aims, and that is B for beating isolation, I for improving employability, and G for growing confidence of visually impaired young people. And the way we do that is through connecting us all together, sharing experience and learning from each other. And so that's what led to the foundation of the mentoring program. And I knew when I was growing up that what I really needed were those mentors. And as I said before, it was that connection time in the youth groups that really made the most difference to me. And so when I took on the role and I spoke to many other young people, they said exactly the same thing. And I was shocked to find that so many young people face the same challenges as I faced growing up, and that also unemployment was a big challenge for visually impaired people. So we wanted to offer a program that boosted the skills and employability of young adults, but also helped the younger children. And I was getting mentoring at the time, and it was so effective that I just thought, why can't we do this here? And I spoke to some really key groups of young people who agreed and said, I'll be a mentor. I want to give back. So many people have helped me in my life. I want to give back to somebody else. So our first team of 10 mentors, who I'll never forget, trained in 2017 and 2018. And so that's what we do. We train up young visually impaired people aged between 18 and 30, and they volunteer their time amazingly to train up to be mentors for children aged 11 and above. And we match them on interest mainly, so on hobbies, ambitions for the future, but we also match, if we can, on eyesight experience. So if somebody has lost their sight when they're a teenager, we match them with a mentor who also lost their sight when they're a teenager. Or if a mentor is a brailleist, we match with another brailleist so they can really share key experience. And we offer 3 types of mentoring. We do a generic mentoring, which is really led by the young person's needs. That we've just launched, with support from the Thomas Pocklington Trust, a student mentoring program where we're supporting VI young people who are going off to university or who are just starting university. And then we also look at careers as well for the future.
Wow, that's brilliant. That sounds so thoughtfully done. Like all of the people being paired up and matched up.
Oh, well, it's a lot of work for the team, and without them, it wouldn't be the project it is today. And we're continuously evolving. We now have a network. We've trained up over 150 mentors UK wide,
Wow.
and we're training roughly 30 to 40 new mentors every year. And referrals are boosting all the time. So the word's got out, and many young people would like a mentor. But it can also be tough as well because we're so small. We have to meet this growing need. So that's what we're doing at the moment. We're figuring out always how we can reach and support more young people.
So if someone's listening to this and they're interested in being a mentor, then there's definitely need for them then.
Definitely. If people have got skills to share or ideas, or they also want to improve their skills, because also mentoring isn't just a great thing to do, and we've got such a mixed demographic of our volunteer mentors. Many are in work and doing incredibly well, successful employment. Other people are looking for work. Other people are students. And so our role is to support our mentors as well as our mentees, and we want to give back. So we're also looking at the different training that we give for the mentors. So we're not only looking for mentors, but anyone else who could share skills to help our mentors grow their skills and then pass them on to children as well.
So I know that you've got Lookfest coming up pretty soon as well. Can you tell me a bit about what that is and when it is, please?
Yes, Lookfest is our celebration of the year, and it's a festival for families with visually impaired children, and it's happening on the 7th to the 9th of July at Humble Farm in Monmouthshire, owned by the amazing TV presenter Kate Humble. And it's going to be a celebration of everything that Look does. So we're going to have lots of arts and crafts. We're going to have woodland walks. We're going to have forest schools, a big ceilidh, a talent show. We're going to have our mentoring hub, where we've got a team of our mentors there talking about different topics. We're also going to be having fun things like robot making workshop happening there. We've also got a parent carer hub, and that's going to be run by all of our incredible volunteer parents and our parent coordinator, Jane Ring, who's also a parent carer of a deaf blind child. And it's going to be a wonderful celebration. We're going to be glamping in a field, and people can rent bell tents, which come with beds and duvet covers. The catering's all done. We're making the festival site really accessible. And the main aim of the festival is that it's really created with our volunteer mentors. So it's a huge celebration of Look mentoring and Look parent support, and just bringing our community together.
Wow, that sounds so much fun. I want to go.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
If there are some tickets available still, how could people book onto that?
Yes, please go to our website, which is www.look-uk.org, and all the information is on there. You can buy tickets through Eventbrite, and the link is on our website.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I think that, there's going to be a lot of listeners who want to find out more about Look, whether they're parents or whether they're people who feel they could offer their skills, or even people who might feel inspired to support financially. So would you mind just going through kind of all the ways, you've already said the website, but just all the ways people can get in touch, find out more and get involved?
Yes, please head to our website, which is www.look-uk.org. Or you can find us on Facebook, and we're at Look National, or follow us on Twitter at Look_UK, or find us on Instagram at Look UK Charity. And all the information is there, including our phone numbers. You can also give us a ring.
We're about out of time for today, but don't forget, if you'd like to get involved with anything Look are doing, whether that's as a parent, a mentor, or in any other way, then just go to www.look-uk.org, look-uk.org, or follow them on social media. All their links are on their website, along with their phone number and email address. To find more about anything that Torch offers, or to leave a comment, question or song request, then give us a call on 01858 438 260. That's 01858 438 260. Or you can email info@torchtrust.org. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram by searching for Torch Trust. Until next week, from me, Marilyn, and everyone on the Reflections team, goodbye and God bless.
You've been listening to Reflections from Torch Trust.